Welcome to the Living Your Dream panel. What's going to be happening here today is we're going to be sharing, you're going to hear from women sharing their stories, their narrative about whether dealing with homelessness, how they were able to deal with financial issues in order to thrive and not just go beyond surviving, but doing well. The purpose of this workshop or this panel is to inspire you to dream. You know, there's nothing that you can't do, but sometimes there's some barriers and there's some things that hinder us from being able to accomplish what it is that we're wanting to see happen. Well, we're going to hear from two ladies today that are going to be sharing about their story and what was involved in them living their dreams. We're going to start off with Shelby Banera.
Hi, everybody. So first off, I just want you guys to all stand up and give yourselves a round of applause for all the females in the room today. Thank you. So my name is Shelby Banera, and I'm the owner of Shelby's Bakery and Kitchen, and I'm also a full-time business banker at TD Bank. When I was 2 years old, I moved here from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I turned 14 years old, and I realized I had a burning passion for baking and all things culinary. I decided I wanted to start my own baking business, and I only started out with 2 cake pans, a cake knife, and a Lazy Susan. Realistically, back then, that's all I had and all I can afford, because when I was 14, I was only working at Eastside Mario's part-time, and then I started to do my baking business part-time instead. During my high school, I actually went in every single day. I had the opportunity to bake for the lunchroom, and it was something that I loved doing. And I did every single day, 5 a.m. I'd wake up and I wanted to do this, and it was something I just loved doing. So fast forward, after high school, I really had, I guess you might call it like a passion for mathematics, or I really wanted to make use of the analytical part of my brain. So I went to my psychologist, and she stated that I was diagnosed with ADHD and 2 learning disabilities. She told me I could only get past the diploma in not a full degree. So she told me, I think SAIT would be the best school for you. SAIT actually really interested me. And the reason why is because of the hands-on learning approach. I love that hands-on learning approach. I heard amazing things about the instructors, and I really thought that they would be the school for me. So I registered into SAIT, got in, went through the diploma program. I loved it. And then I graduated and I got through the full degree program. Something that's like the psychologist said that I cannot do. Yeah. So once I graduated SAIT, I actually had a few designations behind my name. I got my CSC, my IFIC, my FP1, and my FP2 certifications. During my time at SAIT, they encouraged doing these certifications, and the reason being is because it gets you into the workforce quicker than you'd expect, and also it's a great thing to have on your resume behind your name. So after I graduated from SAIT, a few months after, I started applying for jobs. And in the meantime, I actually wrote my own little finance ebook. And I wanted to teach other people how to learn fundamentals and technicals of the stock market. I know that there's a lot of males in the industry, but there's not a lot of females. So I wanted to change that narrative. So shortly after I wrote my ebook, I started tutoring different kinds of people on financial education and also just how to trade stocks. On the side of that, I was also operating my bakery part-time still. And on top of that, I was applying for some jobs specifically in business banking sector. So a few months later after that, I got an interview with TD Bank, and they decided to hire me on full time as an account manager for small business. And pretty much what I do there is I help anybody, either female, male, if you're starting your own business, how can I help with lending and advisory services that you might need? The reason why I love TD as a bank is because it gives me the opportunity to connect with other female entrepreneurs that are like-minded and just starting their journey. I want to help those who are just starting their journey really get their foot in the door and really create the business that they've always dreamed of. And so I want to leave you guys here with something today. And I'm sorry, I apologize if I'm over time. I want you guys to appreciate where you are today. Just take a minute, close your eyes, appreciate where you are today. Just appreciate. And then before you take a step forward, realize how far you've came. Thank you so much. I'm Shelby Banera, and I hope you enjoy the rest of today.
Hi, everyone. I am Jaswinder Kaur. Thank you so much for joining us today. Are you able to listen to me okay? Great, thank you so much. So I came from India, Delhi, which is the capital of India. I am 4 years old in Canada, I would say, but whenever year passes, I say I'm 1 year old here, I'm 2 year old here. Now I say I'm 4 year old here. When I immigrated to Canada, I got married over here and immigrated to Canada. Arrived here in July 2019. And when I came here, I was having mixed feelings about my immigration. I was worried about immigrating. I was worried about going to a new country, excitement of meeting new people and starting my new journey, a lot of mixed emotions. So when I came here, I started looking for new opportunities to start my career as well. And then I started looking for opportunities. I went to Momentum and started my journey from there. I did a technology program. I have already bachelor's in computer science from my home country, and I did a technology program with Momentum. When I graduated at Momentum, unfortunately, due to pandemic, I was not able to get an opportunity in the market. And I volunteered at various organizations, and I volunteered at Momentum, where I learned about financial empowerment, asset building, banking, budgeting. There is a lot to learn over there. And I completed my education as well. So as I said, that due to pandemic, I was not able to get an opportunity. When I volunteered at Momentum, I worked as an IT volunteer over there. And now I'm working at Momentum from last 2 years as financial empowerment administrator and IT administrator, where I am collaborating my business IT skills with the new administration skills. And I'm so proud of myself about it, being a woman. If I can do it in 4 years, you all can do it. So it's amazing to be part of here. Before, when I came here and I looked back, and I was a woman who wanted to do something in life, who wanted to pursue, who was having a lot of dreams. And now when I see myself, I am at a place where I have a clarity, I have a vision where I'm going. I am more confident. I feel content about it. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Being a woman is really empowering. You have challenges, but you can come through all those and be proud of yourself. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well done, Jazz. Thank you, Jazz and Shelby. Later this afternoon, we will hear from Jennifer Burthwright. She's not here right now, but she will be joining us later. So those are our two storytellers. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hear from a panel, because these ladies shared their personal story. And what we're hoping that you'll get from that is being able to connect in some way, but as well, being able to understand a different perspective other than your own, which I believe can help when it comes to leading other people. Now we're going to hear from Margaret Yu. She is with the organization that Jazz just mentioned, which is Momentum. And you'll learn about the incredible resource that Momentum provides. And we also have over here on my far left is Jo-Ann Fasegha, and she is from Movement 51, which is a new nonprofit organization that is here in the city. I'm excited for you to be able to learn about them. So we'll start off with Margaret.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Margaret Yu, and I'm a registered social worker as well as an accredited financial counselor at Momentum. Momentum is a nonprofit organization in Calgary, and our home quarters is also in Calgary. We partner with people who are living on low incomes to help them in three areas. The first one is money management. So they understand their budget, spending plan, understanding the credit system, as well as how to repay their debts. It's a very holistic approach. Most participants exit from our programs with increased skills, knowledge, and confidence. We also have individual financial coaching programs where they sit down one-to-one with a coach and they work through their goals, tracking their expenses, and then achieving those. We also have our Start Your Own Business program. So there's people who are entrepreneurs, such as Shelby here. We support entrepreneurs who are interested in starting or even expanding their small business. We've supported people with coffee shops to consulting, and the sky's the limit. And last but not least, we also support folks who are interested in a pre-apprenticeship trades training. So this is heavy duty mechanic, IT, we have AWS, which is for women. We have carpentry. We are a very welcoming organization. We embrace the diversity, equity, inclusion strategy and lens, and that's Momentum. Most participants who go through our programs and services come in a place of struggle, but then exiting our learning services, they feel more confident. They feel, again, they have equipped skills and able to tack on and have more resilience in their lives. So check us out. All our programs and services are free. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Jo-Ann Fasegha, and I'm from Movement 51, but today I'm representing the 51 and Movement 51. So I'll go into a little bit of a background if none of you have heard of Movement 51 or the 51. So the 51 is a venture capital firm that invests in women and gender diverse founders. And so we have created a community of investors, those aspiring to be innovators, where we're sharing knowledge, we're sharing, tips and tricks. We're teaching you about early stage investing. So it's really a great community to meet other like-minded individuals. And then for Movement 51, this is the financial side of the 51. And we're an educational platform where we're teaching both investors as well as founders. We're teaching them how to go along that investment process. So for investors, we're taking you from the very beginning through, doing your due diligence, looking for companies, all of these things. And then by the time you're done the course, you're able to actually make an investment into a company, and you have that confidence, and you also have that foundational knowledge. And then for our founders, we are taking them across, we're getting them investment ready, basically. So for pre-seed companies, from the very beginning, where everything that you need to know to be successful and to raise capital, to raise external capital, we're going to take you through those steps. And both are very immersive. It's very hands-on. We like to take a learn by doing approach. So it's not just people speaking at you and using words that maybe you haven't heard or anything like that, but we're really trying to explain things and take you across along the process. So it's a community is what we're really trying to build. And I know I said women and gender diverse, but it's open to all of you men as well. So anybody who wants to join, you can definitely be a part of our community. Thanks.
This is Mike. Okay, awesome. All right, this is what is going to happen now. First of all, can we thank our panel and as well our speakers for presenting? You know, one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we did is that we got ordinary people, regular people, people from our city telling their stories. And so we don't have professional speakers up here, though they did a professional job, did they not? They did. And I think that that's something that's so important because everybody's got a story. You have a story. And sometimes it's about creating a space and a place for people to share their story so that we can learn from each other. We're going to create another space so that you can share your story. Oh, yes, we are. Oh, yes, we are. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a moment to break up into small groups. Now, I'm not going to put you number you off. Don't worry, it's not high school or anything like that. It's nothing like that. But just organically where you are, just with the people that are around you, if you could gather into groups of 5, preferably if you're sitting with 4 people or 3 people that you know, then you need to include more people, okay, into your group. What we're gonna do is we're gonna ask, just create some discussion around this topic related to living your dream. So my first question is, what is a particular challenge that your generation has when it comes to living their dream? What is a particular challenge that you have when it comes to living your dream within your generation? So just turn around, find the people that are around you. Just introduce yourself. So you're going to identify yourself. My name is Alison, and maybe even just share briefly why did you come to this? Why did you come? And what is a challenge that you have when it comes to your dream? Now, as you're doing that, you noticed a QR code that was just posted up there just a moment ago. The purpose of that is we're going to be asking questions to the panel, and so that is it's called Slido. And so if you pull out your phone, and for those of you who are not sure, oh my goodness, it's so cool if you have a modern phone, you just go into the pictures part as if you're about to take a picture, and then you as if you're going to take a picture of the screen, point your cell phone to it, and then you'll see little squares come up, and then it'll say Slido, or maybe it'll say women-owned narrative. I'm not sure what it's going to say, but it's going to say something. And then just click on that button, okay? And there you're going to be able to ask if you have any questions for any of our panel here. That's going to come to me, okay? So that's how you're going to use that. So now we're going to go back into our small group. You've got about 10 minutes in your small group to answer the questions that this gentleman is going to put up on the screen for you. Okay, I'll give you a couple more minutes. Not even, no, seconds. Y'all, you just got seconds, okay? Pull out your phone. Don't tell me now you've forgotten your password. Come on. I know. Oh, who's running the PowerPoint? Somebody. Okay, it's in a special room. Anyways, okay, while we get that back up, you're going to answer this first question. You don't have to worry, whoever the PowerPoint person is, don't worry about it. But if you can get the QR code up for us, that would be great. The first question that you're going to answer is, in your generation, what are some of the challenges when it comes to living out your dream? Okay, let's do it. All right, how was the discussion? Is it all right? Okay, well, we've got some questions from you and that we're going to ask the panel now. And as well, anybody can answer these questions. And so as best as you can, just so we can get through as many questions as we can, fairly brief if you're able to, okay? All right, first question. How do you get rid of burnout from trying to be Superwoman? Yeah, that's an interesting question because women, we try to do a lot, whether it's taking care of family or school education as well, financial independence. How do you make sure that you don't become vulnerable to burnout? Any thoughts or ideas?
I think for me, like I work a lot. Like I know I work 9 to 5, and then after that, I go straight to the gym, and then I get home and I do my business, whatever I need to catch up on that front. So, I guess how I stay like motivated is when you're doing something that you're really passionate about, the motivation will just naturally come. But then other than that, I would say you have to make an organized schedule weekly. And then that way you have things that are divided up and you don't burn out. So it's like prevent that from happening. That's the advice that I can give.
Yeah, I can follow on with that. I think having a schedule is very important, but also leaning on your community, I think is really important. So asking for help is not a weakness, and it doesn't make you any less of a superwoman. I think it's really important to tap into the people that are around you and ask them for help. And so if you need help with picking up your kids, or you need a ride somewhere, or whatever it is, I think asking for help is very important.
I'll go next. I think using your self-care wheel, so identifying ideas and strategies that are helpful to not burning out in the first place. So regular practices. Once we're reaching the burnout state, it's a lot of fatigue and exhaustion. Regular checkups with family doctor, working out, leaning on community, friends, family, but also seeking a mentor and supervision. It has been very helpful to think of different ideas and get unstuck. Yeah, that's what I would say for combating burnout.
Margaret, just a quick question. Does Momentum provide any support for that? And not necessarily for burnout, but even just resources. You talked about mentorship, having a mentor or somebody that's supporting you. Does Momentum provide anything like that?
Yeah, we have financial coaches that work on your relationship with money. So we look at a person holistically, not just, okay, let's talk about the budget or what's coming in, what's exiting for expenses. So very holistic approach. And we do referrals across the organization to find the right supports for that person.
No, thank you so much. This is a question for you, Jo-Ann. Does 51 help in building community? Or as well, another question is, does Movement 51 support only younger people, or can they support people that are older or 60? So what is their role when it comes to building community? And is it just for a certain age demographic?
So when it comes to community, our goal here is to educate and empower women, gender diverse individuals, men, everybody, but create a community where you're around like-minded people who are also trying to learn about early stage investing, or just want to grow their financial knowledge and build that like foundational knowledge. And it's not only for young people. So it's for anybody at any age. You can join the community, you can learn. If you're a founder, you can also go through our program, or you can come to us as a business that we invest in, because we are a fund. So we do invest in women and gender diverse founders. So there's no age limit. Anybody is welcome. And community is big. We're having monthly events where you can meet others in the community. And now that things are opening up again, there's more in-person events. So you really get that opportunity to meet people and grow your network and tap into resources and get advice from other people. So yeah, it's good.
It's good. Sadia had a question related still with Movement 51, and that is, what was missing? What did the organization see that was missing that you decided to start the organization? Can you articulate that?
Yeah, so our founders talk about this all the time, and it's really that women tend to not be given a seat at the table, right? And so even when it comes to founders, so I'm forgetting the number now, but women are, I think they perform better than men when as founders, they perform better usually with less, yet they get about 2.8% of funding from investors. And that is despite the amount of work they put in, the growth potential that their company has, and they're just not given those opportunities. So our founders all three of them are women, and they saw this issue and wanted to create a environment and economy that they want to see, right? So instead of talking about the change, they wanted to be the change. And so that is why the 51 and Movement 51 were created, so that the people who want to invest in the companies are getting that education that they need to walk into those rooms, understand what people are talking about, add to the conversation, make those investments. And then for the founders, giving them that confidence to get capital, to get external capital from other organizations, however it may be. But really, we wanted to build that confidence and just bring more people or more women to be able to sit at the table.
Yeah, needed. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jo-Ann. Margaret, if you could speak to that same question in regards to momentum, what need in the community does momentum provide? Like, so that people know very clearly, oh man, I'm thinking about, we've got some people up here who've talked about some of the different barriers, and we've talked about it in our small groups, some of the barriers that we face. How can momentum help overcome some of those barriers that people might face? Like, some of it is financial, or even sometimes finding time to be able to maybe start your business like Shelby did. What does momentum bring?
So we offer a wide range of services, and we'll meet you where you're at. So for example, we have on-demand money management, which is what it sounds like. It's online workshops where you can take it at your own pace, your own time. They are 45 minutes in length. You can pick up where you've left off and just do micro dosing of that education for financial literacy. We also offer in-person, hands-on, tangible learning, and it's in a group cohort environment. So you'll learn from your peers, not only just from a facilitator perspective. And of course, we work in collaboration with organizations. So we're open for the community members. We also have Money Moccasins, which is a very unique program for Indigenous people to create that safe space. It's led by an Indigenous facilitator to discuss finances.
Cool, thank you. And I just want to know, you don't know this, Margaret, but I am a product of momentum, actually. I wanted to change my career. I wanted to start a business. I had a gift. You talked about what strengths do you bring to your generation. I have a gift of public speaking. And I was working in the schools doing character development curriculum, but I wanted to start my business, but I hadn't taken a business degree, and I've already taken my schooling, and I was like, now what do I do? And it was somebody told me about momentum, and I took a program. At that time, they had a program that was specific for women and provided childcare and all that kind of stuff. And they brought in, it was called Women's Venture, and they brought in CEOs. We developed a business plan for my project, for what I wanted to do. They brought in somebody that specialized in marketing, and they trained us and they taught us stuff. I learned so much from it. In fact, as a result, I started my business and as well my nonprofit organization, because they provided a year of business coaching, free business coaching afterwards to support the business plan. And so this is just a bit of a snapshot of what momentum does. Can your dreams happen? They can. And some people had mentioned some obstacles that they had faced in regards to cancer. And sometimes that happens where you lose the motivation, but there's people around, and especially living in Calgary, there are resources available to support you. And somebody had mentioned it earlier, I can't remember who it was, but the importance of community around you. when it comes to fulfilling your dreams, even when things are tough and challenging. Thank you very much. I see Jennifer is here. Jennifer, you can share later, but I'd love to have you still come on up here if that's all right, if you're okay with that. Are you okay for coming on up here? This is Jennifer Burthwright. She, and she'll share her story, but she'll share her story later. But Jennifer, if you could just give just a bit of a little brief who you are, what you're into right now, so that so we can ask you some of these questions too. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What am I into? It's more like, what am I not into? Yeah, I'm Jenny B. It's actually, my mom would say, don't call her Jennifer. Cool. I'm the founder and the chef at Bond BBQ. It's my brainchild. My wife is my partner. So I'm going to tell you more about that. I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, we're in we survived COVID and now we're in a growth spurt, and it's this crazy, from like, God, survive. What are we going to do? We're working like 90 hours a week and we're doing all of the things ourselves. And don't get me wrong, we're still doing that. But, it's in a more growth aspect, right? So we're on the other side of things. And, I'm really happy because I get to kind of do more of what I love, which is the marketing and business development. So yeah, more to come later.
Awesome. Thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah.
I mean, Jenny,
Jenny.
stay right there. Stay right there. Okay, cool. I love this question. This is for Shelby, but Jenny, you can speak to this, and Jazz, you can speak to this too. As a young woman in business, do you feel like you have to compete with other women for resources in business? So the competition question that we asked earlier, do you feel that as a female?
So I think in terms of resources, I guess that can just mean promotions for females in finance. And so there's all sorts of opportunities and ways that you can go about your career. For me, it's definitely a commercial path. Right now I'm in small business. I want to get to commercial. And how I'm doing that is, take them for coffee, take the higher ups, the VPs, the SVPs, take them out for coffee, let them know that you want to get further in with the company, and they're more than willing to help you. And then they know you, they like you, they can associate a face to the name. And that's kind of how I have been doing that. So yeah.
Well, I'm into yoga and meditation. I want to open a business in that. And I agree with Shelby that creating connections in the society and meeting with members or meeting with people who are already in that business so that they can educate you and support you for that is a really important thing to think about. And I think that helps.
Did you have anything you want to say about that, Jenny?
Put her on the spot.
Competition, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know even for myself, sometimes when you're strong and you're doing well, people feel threatened by you.
All the time. Yeah, it's crazy. But so much so for us, I would say being in the food industry is really different than many other types of businesses. I don't know who's worked in the food industry. No. A little bit. So you know what I'm talking about. You're under a wheel, right? So I would say that I'm probably less aware of that factor. And just probably more, I have maybe we see it in maybe some of the men that we have to rely on. We find that there's, maybe sometimes as female run business, we get a bit of that cold shoulder, or if we're very confident and assertive in what we're doing, or, I happen to I've designed a couple of restaurants, so I kind of know what I'm doing a bit. So holding people accountable, and particularly males sometimes, the males, can be really difficult in our industry. But I think we've also had the other side. We've had, we put our heads down and we work really hard. That's how we got to where we are. And, we've seen people reaching out and really supporting us. So, stories on both sides, but.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jenny. All right. What is your favorite part about being a woman?
I could pick that one up. The ability to mega multitask, right? That's a very female quality.
Cool.
That was what I was gonna say, actually. Multitasking, because I think it's our superpower, really.
So we as women wear a lot of hats as a mother, as a partner, as a colleague, a lot of hats. So multitasking is one, but what is unique in women is to, I won't say unique, but to stay focused at one time, when even when you're multitasking, stay focused on what you're doing and then jump to another and then stay focused on that and jump to another. So that's a really big thing about, yeah, that's a thing that I really like about being a woman.
Somebody was telling me about a book. Sorry, what is your name?
Jazz.
Jazz. Okay, Jenny. Somebody was telling me about a book and that there's actually a reason for that. Have you heard of that? Going back to like hunting days when, the men would be off hunting, right? And the women would have to kind of super focus on like what could be coming as a threat, as well as taking care of the village and whatnot. So it's actually kind of like, innate in us. Yeah. That's cool.
For me, I think like being able to stand out in whatever like industry you're in, whether it being like finance, law, if you're a doctor, I deal with a lot of professionals. And so, there's a lot of women incentives, and that's being great about being a woman is like, you get a little bit of an extra step forward in whatever career path you choose, just because like I feel like there's less of us than there are men. So just having that advantage right off the bat, it's something that I love about being a woman.
One thing that I find about being a female is that when somebody says, don't, you can't do this, that there's something that rises up inside of us and is like, oh yeah, that pushes, and that is a needed and a necessary quality in women. And so for those of you that have young daughters or nieces or young neighbors, to you, letting them know that and not stifling it, but encouraging it. Because many of us, I know, and I'll speak for sure for myself, there's things that I would not have accomplished if it wasn't for that. There are a lot of people that have told me no. Have you experienced that as well, please? Lots of people who've said, no, you can't. But there's something inside of a female that's like, oh, I'm going to watch what I can do. And so that is an incredible quality of a woman. Jenny.
I was just going to say, I almost have come to love naysayers. I love that, like that same feeling, that challenge of, I can relate to that for sure.
Okay, last question. What advice would you give to the audience in regards to living your dream? So this is when you get to take a moment and just look into their eyes. What would you want them to know from what you've learned in your personal life? Passing on wisdom. Wisdom is such a gift. What would you want to pass on to them from what you've learned in your experience?
Like just from my personal experience, I know that there's like a bunch of people that in your life that are willing to help you. And I think like asking them for help, and it helps you a lot when you're overwhelmed and stressed with your everyday work life, or if you're going to school, there's a lot on your plate with working and managing that. So just getting advice from other people and asking them is how I would deal with that.
I would say dream big and to have I can do it attitude. I will never say, if somebody will say, can you do it? I can never say I cannot. I am ready to learn it. I am ready to do it. I'm ready to dream big.
Cool.
I echo Jazz, having a growth mindset, as well as being humble, having humility, but hungry as well, and smart.
I would say it'd be to just take that first step. I think that's the scariest thing to do, is to just start. But I would say just do it. Shout out to Nike, but like just do it, right? And take that step and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to have to pivot or change up what you're doing, but just do it.
I'll reserve my comment just because I get lots of, or 3 minutes to talk to you about that shortly. So I will do that.
All right. I hope you valued what they all had to say here. They did a great job. Did they do it right? Yeah. Thank you so much. As we're celebrating International Women's Day, something that is so important is that we support one another. We have a diverse number of different genders that are here, represented different age demographics that are here. And we need to always look out not only for our own interests, but the interests of others also. I want to see you succeed. And I encourage you to bring somebody else along in that success. I want to succeed. Who can I bring around me into that success as well? It's not just me and my story. You know, when I find sometimes we have a bit of a mentality where we are the star of our own show, you know? But if everybody's the star, who are the supporting actors and actresses? You know, they have awards for supporting actors and actresses for a reason, because they help highlight somebody. And if we're all thinking it's all about me and my story, then people get neglected, and there's other characters, there's other people that are around us that need to be elevated at different times. And I think it's important that we're aware and we're seeing people that are around us. And when it comes to women, that we, as females, I'm a firm believer in female alliances, that we need to look out for one another and support and promote one another. But men, you have a role in this too. There's something that's significant as advocates for women and making sure that we are invited to the table. When you're there, look around. Who do you not see that's there? Invite them to the table. Thank you so much. What's going to happen now is we're going to take a moment there's going to be a storytelling time with Miss Many Fingers. She's going to be sharing up there, and as well, you're going to take a moment. You can go use the bathroom afterwards, and there's as well the resource fair. Momentum will be there. Movement 51, you're at the resource fair. You guys are maybe not. Maybe. Anyways, there's a number of organizations that are there, and the panels here too. You can ask them questions afterwards. They'd love that. All right, thank you so much.